Did you know that Louis Vuitton went from rags to riches? This inspirational story of the luxurious brand will make you believe in the power of hard work. Louis Vuitton is the top dog of luxury fashion. Bernard Arnault, the big boss at Louis Vuitton, is currently sitting pretty as the second richest guy in the world with a cool 180 billion to his name. But did you know that Louis Vuitton himself was once homeless? He had zero education and slept in forests. His story starts way back in 1821 in a tiny French village called Angers. Louis Vuitton grew up on a farm with no electricity or running water, and his dad was a miller and farmer, and his mom made hats for extra cash. Louis never went to school, instead he worked the farm from dawn to dusk. Then at just 10 years old, his mom died, and his dad remarried a controlling woman. Louis couldn't stand his stepmom, so he ran away at 13, aiming for Paris, a whopping 225 miles away. With no money or food, Louis walked along dirt roads, slept in the woods, and did odd jobs for scraps of food or coins. Over 3 years, he picked up skills in metal, stone, fabric, and woodwork. These skills would later change his life. He began his career by making trunks for Empress Eugenie de Montijo, the wife of Napoleon III. Louis landed a job as an apprentice boxmaker and packer. This job connected him with the upper class who needed custom luggage for their travels. He worked hard, and by 1851, even the Empress of France noticed his craftsmanship, making him her personal boxmaker and packer. At 33, Louis married and used his savings to start his own boxmaking workshop in Paris. He saw a problem with the current luggage designs. They were bulky and hard to stack, so he experimented and created flat-top trunks using canvas. These were lighter, more durable, and water-resistant, revolutionizing luggage. His new designs were a hit, and soon, everyone wanted a Louis Vuitton trunk. Louis Vuitton's skill in making trunks led him to create flat-topped, stackable cases that were both waterproof and lightweight. But life threw another curveball. In 1870, when Louis was 49 years old, the Franco-Prussian War broke out. Louis had to flee his home and live in a crowded shelter with thousands of others. Food was scarce, and he feared for his life. When Louis finally returned to his shop in 1871, he found it destroyed. Windows were smashed, equipment was stolen, and he had lost everything he had worked so hard for. But Louis didn't give up. He used his savings to rebuild his business and vowed to make it even better than before. Here's where Louis worked brilliantly. With so many people displaced by the war, there were lots of empty shops available for rent in the city. Louis took advantage of this and opened his new shop in a wealthy area of Paris, right next to the railway station and the Grand Hotel. This location was perfect because travelers could easily find the Louis Vuitton store when they needed new luggage. In 1872, Louis introduced a new design: luggage made of beige canvas with strips. This became incredibly popular, and people loved showing off the modern style. Many other brands tried to copy his style, but Louis Vuitton bags were so high quality that customers still preferred the original. For the next 20 years, Louis worked at his new shop in Paris until he passed away at 70. His legacy lived on through his son George, who took over the family business. George expanded the brand globally, opening a popular store in London. By this time, Louis Vuitton luggage was so popular that other box makers started making counterfeits. In 1896, George introduced the now iconic LV monogram to make it harder to copy. The LV stood for his father's initials, honoring the man who started the brand. He also added a new lock on the trunks that made them impossible for thieves to pick. By 1900, the company had 100 employees and continued to grow, and all employees were trained for a long time to become expert box makers. Even today, Louis Vuitton employees train for 18 months to 2 years before they're trusted to make a product on their own. The company expanded into new products thanks to another fashion icon, Coco Chanel. In 1925, she commissioned a small dome-shaped handbag called the Alma. This was a huge success, so Louis Vuitton started making more small leather bags like the Keepall, Speedy, and No. George Vuitton died in 1936, and the company was passed to his son, Gaston Louis. However, Gaston took over at a difficult time because France was heading to war again. During World War II, contracts were cancelled and Gaston had to shut down the Louis Vuitton factory. Paris was under siege once more, and to save the business, Gaston collaborated with Nazi Germany. An author named Stephanie Bonvicini wrote a book called Louis Vuitton, a French Saga. The company is ashamed of this part of its history, but they argue that Gaston did what he needed to do to survive. After Gaston died, his son-in-law Henry Rackemeyer took over and transformed Louis Vuitton into a global powerhouse. This was now the fourth generation running the company, and unlike his ancestors, Henry had a lot of business experience from a company he ran before. So when he took over Louis Vuitton, he knew how to take the brand to a whole new level. Henry made big changes to Louis Vuitton to grow it from a family business to a huge corporation. He changed the business model from wholesale to retail, and what were the outcomes? By 1978, he expanded into many countries, including Japan. In 6 years, and adjusting for inflation, sales jumped from $20 million to $260 million. Then in 1984, Henry took the company public. Louis Vuitton sold out 1 million shares at $63.63 each, and with this money, Henry opened more stores worldwide. By 1987, Louis Vuitton reached $1 billion in sales, far beyond what Louis could have dreamed when he first opened his store in Paris. Henry decided to combine Louis Vuitton with Moet Hennessy, a luxury drinks company. Together, they formed a new luxury group called LVMH. The idea was to pool resources and grow even faster. However, after the merger, Henry didn't get along with the president of Moet Hennessy. He asked a property developer named Bernard Arnault for help, but this backfired. Bernard secretly bought 43% of Louis Vuitton shares and got support from the Moet and Hennessy families to gain more power in LVMH. Henry felt betrayed by Bernard and took him to court, demanding Bernard not hold the majority stakes in Louis Vuitton, but the courts sided with Bernard. Feeling backstabbed, Henry quit Louis Vuitton. For the first time in nearly 100 years, no one from the Vuitton family was involved in the brand. After Bernard's hostile takeover, Louis Vuitton's sales began to drop. Journalists stopped covering the brand, and it seemed like the company might fail. However, Bernard knew how to turn things around. Louis Vuitton made a comeback by collaborating with famous fashion designers for its 100th anniversary collection. Designers like Vivienne Westwood and Isaac Mizrahi created new takes on the LV iconic monogram. These unique products made people excited about Louis Vuitton again. So yes, Bernard's investment paid off massively. He is now the CEO of LVMH, and in 2021, Forbes named him the richest man in the world with a net worth of over $180 billion. Though this can change as stock prices move, he is almost always in the top 5 richest people globally. Unlike other billionaires like Bezos, Musk, Gates, and Buffett, Bernard prefers to stay out of the spotlight. Known as the Wolf in Kashmir for his ruthless business tactics, Bernard has grown LVMH to own over 70 different luxury brands. This massive company owns many of the world's most luxurious brands, and to think, it all started with a broke, homeless teenager. By the 2000s, Louis Vuitton has expanded into both fine and high jewelry. Francesca Amfiteatrov, the current artistic director of jewelry and watches, continues to innovate with exclusive diamond cuts and legendary motifs in their collections. Today, Louis Vuitton continues to dominate the fashion world with over 400 stores worldwide and is valued at $39 billion. Despite controversies and counterfeiting issues, it remains a symbol of luxury and aspiration. What are your thoughts on this brand? Let us know in the comments below, and do not forget to like, share, and subscribe to this channel for more.